Hello, my pretties. It's the Lion Queen here. Welcome to episode 21 actually, of Shadows and Pretties. Now, the last Christmas special I did a review on, which was a Berenstain Bears one called The Berenstain Bears and the Christmas Tree. Now, today we are going to be doing another Christmas movie review, and today we're going to be reviewing this movie called A Christmas Story. Now, this one is a Christmas comedy film directed by Barb Clark and based on the Gene Shepard's semi-fictional anthologies in his 1966 book In God We Trust and All Lovers Pay Cash, with some elements from his 1971 book Wanda Hickey's Night of Golden Memories and Other Disasters. So, of course, this movie came out in 1983, so it's pretty much an 80s movie. Kind of feels like a 90s movie at the same time. So it was released in November of 1983 on the 18th. So, however, though, we are going to get started with, this movie, especially, to review, what you guys haven't seen this movie in, because the fact is that most of you guys probably have seen this movie when you were a kid. Doesn't matter if it's on VHS or DVD. But I thought, you know what? Let me go ahead and get started on that. Just so everyone knows what this is about. But I also want to refresh on some stuff if people want to, have a refresher. So, basically the plot is the whole setting is set to December of 1940, where the film's presented with series of vignettes, which is a narration provided by adult Ralphie Parker, reminiscing on one particular Christmas when he was just about 9 years old in Hammond, Indiana. Ralphie only wanted one thing for Christmas, was a Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle, or also known as a BB gun. Ralphie's desire was, however, rejected by his mother, his teacher, and even Santa Claus at the Higbee's department store, giving him the same warning, "You'll shoot your eye out." Well, it's an obvious reason because, when you look at this movie, it's obvious that, guns are not for kids. That's exactly what they're pretty much giving the message is saying guns are not for children. Who the heck would be in their sick minds to even consider, getting a BB gun for Christmas? I think any kind of crazy kid who has no clue on what the hell he's doing is probably why that's the case. I watched this movie when I was a kid years ago, and I kind of watched it in high school, and when I watched it in high school, I honestly kind of remember that movie, but just rarely. This was a pretty good movie in the 80s. However, though, in Christmas morning, Ralphie, however, receives some presents that he enjoys, but gets disappointed that he does not find the BB gun that he wanted. However, when it appears that all of the presents have been opened, Ralphie's father directs him to the one last box hidden in the corner, which proves to contain the rifle. So he eagerly hurries outside to try it out, attaching a target with a metal sign in the backyard. When he fires, the BB gun ricochets back and hits him in the face, believing the first stab was indeed to shot his eye out. When he realizes that the BB gun only knocks his glasses off and begins searching for them in the snow, only way to step on them by accident and break them, he lies to his mother, saying that a falling icicle struck him in the face and he broke his glasses. So she believes him and takes him to the bathroom to get cleaned up. However, though, that night, Ralphie goes to sleep with his gun by his side, and his adult self reflects on what had been the best Christmas present he ever would have received or would receive. And thus the movie ends. Now, there is some stuff that I really have to say about this movie. It's a pretty good Christmas movie, especially from the 80s. I actually really enjoyed this special when I was a kid. I honestly thought it was a really good movie and everything being in it. However, there was inspirations with the main story that's several loosely related to stuff involving the Parkers. For the one, the old man wins a major award contest of table lamp in the shape of a woman's leg, wearing a fishing net stocking. But however, the old man is overjoyed, but Miss Parker is not. The Battle of the Lamp develops at the ending with Miss Parker accidentally destroying it. Much to the dad's fury, unable to fix the lamp, he defeatedly buries the remains in the backyard. Also, we do know that the old man also fights a never-ending battle with the malfunctioning furnace in the Parker's home. His frustrations cause him to swear and often, including one profanity-laden rant, heard as gibberish, but the adult Ralphie says it's still hanging on the space over by Lake Michigan. His influence later reflects back upon Ralphie when the old man's car suddenly blows a tire and Miss Parks suggested that Ralphie help his father change the tire. While holding the bolts in the tire's hubcap, the old man accidentally knocks them out of Ralphie's hands, causing Ralphie to utter profanity and to have his mouth washed off with soap. Yeah, that's pretty much a common punishment for like a lot of younger kids. When you were younger and you said, the F word or the S word or whatever, you would get, the soap in your mouth. And that's pretty much a common punishment that I have seen, with kids. And I'm surprised they still do. Some of them do hot sauce, which I think that's a bit extreme. And they did a couple other punishments or something like that gets, the kids to give them a warning saying not to say this word again. But right now, since I'm an adult, I could swear, I could say the F word, I could say the B word, I could cuss however I want, as long as it's not offending anybody or having any of these swears directly towards them, because, yeah, that could really easily offend people. But back then, if you were a kid swearing, it's not really funny. So, however, though, still another source of the frustration with the old man is that the dogs that belong to the Bumpus family and the Parker's hillbilly next door neighbors, the Bumpus own at least almost 800 smelly hound dogs that harass the old man whenever he comes home from work. However, on Christmas Day, when the dogs ruin the family's dinner by romping through the kitchen and eating the turkey, forcing the family to go to a Chinese restaurant for Christmas dinner. Oh my God, that scene was pretty crazy. This has got some really good actors, and especially, ones from the 80s and etc. But we also do know for the fact that Ralphie and his friends, Flick and Schwartz, along with Randy, eventually gets tormented by the neighborhood bullies, Scott Farkas and Grover Dill. Ralphie eventually snaps and beats up Farkas, but Miss Parker catches him mid-fight, and Ralphie expects her to tell the old man, but instead she redirects the conversation to a football game, leading to the old man to brush it off later on. The front of the Parker's house when the Christmas Story was filmed was a Dermont neighborhood of the Cleveland's west side. The building was then restored and reconfigured inside to match its surroundings in the interior and eventually it's open to the public as a Christmas Story house, which, I thought it was pretty neat that they have a picture of that. The cast did a pretty good job, and it's a pretty good story and etc. The fact that the film is set to Omaha, Indiana, and it was honestly pretty good. It's kind of similar to, near Chicago or something like that, or that's from what I do know. And the fact that the BB gun, is pretty much something. The fact that the story actually had a really good concept when it came to this story, which is, it was released a week before Thanksgiving thing in the U.S., as to moderate the success about this film. However, though, there was, a lawsuit for merchandise in the film after the company authorized a figure resembling the character form without his permission, which happened back in 2011 by Zach Ward. It was revealed that when he signed on to play the character, he didn't receive any merchandising rights because of a mishap with his contract. So the lawsuit was then dropped sometime in January of 2012 after Warner Bros. Revealed that the figure showed a genetic face. It had been used since 2006 and had been a statute of limitations that had ran out. However, though, in December of 2012, Ward sued Warner Bros. Again over his image being attending the Animal Christmas Story charity fundraiser convention in Cleveland of November 2010, where free-handing them a Christmas Story board game, playing cards, and calendar showing his face. But however, the lawsuit was then settled 3 days later. Now, we do have this movie on, we do know that there's a VHS tape of this movie, as well as Laserdisc, DVD, and I really gotta say it's a pretty good fun, it's a pretty good fun movie. I mean, I know there is, like the Parker Family Saga series or something, but there is lots of other Christmas, films that actually have a really awesome concept for how this one is. And this one, I gotta really say, it was a pretty fun movie. I really enjoyed this when I was a kid. I mean, I haven't watched this movie in like years. I mean, when I was a kid, I kind of watched it. I mean, getting a BB gun for Christmas, I mean, that's like asking a parent if you can have a gun for Christmas. I mean, you will go up to your parents and say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, can I have a gun for Christmas?" And then they're like, "Okay, we'll give it to you right then." I mean, that's not a good example of parenting. I mean, parents should, I mean, I know there are some parents that don't really have any safety of their kids, and they just let them do whatever the hell they want. Because this kind of reminds me of the Super Nanny episode where these two boys or whatever, they were playing with machetes. It was just really messed up. I mean, yeah, I'm glad Super Nanny put a stop to that, because the parents letting the boys play with the machete, I mean, that was a little extreme. But the fact that it's like this with a BB gun, it just got really worse over time. So I definitely gotta really say, it's definitely something when it came to this story. But other than that, it's a pretty good movie. I mean, I've actually have seen this movie a few times, and I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie because I haven't watched this movie in forever. I mean, last time I probably watched this movie was like maybe well, it was years ago. I think it might have been back in high school, and I mean, I have no doubt that Ralphie's parents say you'll shoot your eye out, just like how the other adults were saying, Yang, because they were right about that. So I definitely gotta say that this honestly is still a really good, fun, and entertaining a story, and I really gotta really like the plot line. It's a pretty good concept. It's awesome. And I gotta really say, I mean, the plot of it was just flat out amazing. And especially with how everything went out. It's just really good. I do like how it ended up being all like one of the best movies of the 80s. I mean, there are a couple good movies that I like from the 80s. This one honestly really does a really good job on it. And I gotta really say, it's still a pretty fun story. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and that being the said, I'm going to sit here and just say this is just simply my own personal opinion on this movie. And if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to this movie. And if you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's pretty fine too, because I respect your opinion regardless. So with that being the case, that being said, what did you guys all personally think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make the movie a lot better. Feel free to leave me what your thoughts are down in the comments below, because I like to personally hear what you guys have to say. So anyways, I'm the Lion Queen. I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when it uploads. That way, you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out.